Breaking-ish news, Texas State finally receives that Pac-12 invite and schedules a Board of Regents meeting for Monday. It's Locked On Sunbelt.
You are Locked On Sunbelt, your daily podcast on the Sunbelt Conference, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your teams every day. Today's episode brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Turns out it was a good idea not to record on Thursday as we wake up and find out on Friday late that Texas State did get that formal invite, and they scheduled a Board of Regents meeting for Monday. We'll get to that in a second. The awards are starting to pour in for Coastal Carolina. And we talked about Southern Miss and Mississippi State, so why not look at all of week one for the Sun Belt? And we do have some big-time matchups on August 30th. Okay, so it's usually, the Brett McMurphys, the Pete Thamels, the national guys who always beat the local beat writers to the punch. Not this time. Michael Adams from the Austin Sports Journal, he was the one to break the news, and I want to say what time he did it. He was the one who tweeted it out, and it was actually Friday morning when he did it. 12/11, Friday morning. Breaking news, Pac-12 formally extends membership invitation to Texas State per source. Board of Regents to vote on Monday to accept invitation. All right, let's see. Do we have, okay, so he actually wrote it on the 26th and tweeted it out after he wrote it. So he wrote it on Thursday on the 26th. So it was written on Thursday night. So there's that 72-hour notice, right? Which I guess we read from Pete Thamel from ESPN. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we're voting on it on Monday. It's a formality, right? And so Texas State is going to join the Pac-12. Did reach out to the source. Don't have any movement yet on the Sun Belt reaction. Again, I don't think this is anything new. It just seems to be more of a formality, right? We're 2 weeks into this, us knowing about it, right? So the Sun Belt reacted a couple weeks ago when they reached out to East Carolina. We know La Tech wants in. I don't know that anything has changed with La Tech coming in. Brett McMurphy says that La Tech is expected to come in. I don't know if anything's changed with that. But this is where we are as of right now. Okay. And I do want to, I guess there's mocking, and you can't tell the sarcasm because we have not invented the sarcasm font without the little, wink emoji type of deal going on. But I'm not hating on Texas State. That's not my style. That's not a thing. The only one I hate on is actually Notre Dame. All right. That's the one I will bring that to. Okay. Having said that, someone made a good point. Why are we hating on Texas State? It's like people, getting a job and bettering themselves and being prevented to move. And that hit home for me because that is one of my pet peeves. I hate that when management stops people from moving on because it's inconvenient for management, although it's a better spot for the person, usually more money. It doesn't even need to be a promotion, but it usually means more money. And that is a pet peeve of mine. So I want to make sure it is not hating. I don't like that Texas State is leaving the Sun Belt. I think they are good for the Sun Belt. I do understand that Texas State is in a bind in terms of travel. All right. They don't have a school close to them in the Sun Belt. Probably the Cajuns are the closest. Maybe it's Arkansas State, one half dozen or the other. Obviously, JMU and App State are probably as close as, Corvallis and Pullman are. Okay. So I want you to understand that I am not hating on Texas State. Disappointed they're leaving because they're finally good in football, and now they're leaving. And admittedly, all right, we can admit this. I don't have a problem. The top end of the conference is better. All right, you're playing Boise. All right, we had 1 year of JMU. Coastal Carolina was good for the year, a couple years back, but there's no Boise State in the Sun Belt. All right. Now, I don't know what Oregon State and Washington State were. They were Power 5 schools. All those Power 5 kids could have transferred out. They could be G5 schools these days. But we'll just, for the sake of argument, Power 5 schools. And then you have Fresno State. Fresno State, been a really good program. I don't know if it was last year, a couple of years ago. They were really good. Their quarterback got hurt. So instead of finishing 10-1 or 11-1, they finished like 8-4. But they've been good the last couple of years. And obviously the reason they're going, let's make no mistake about it, it's money. Okay. It's just money. That, which I don't have a problem, is it's money. All right. The Pac-12-ish is going to, because it's only going to be 8 schools, is going to pay more money. All right. We'll get to the rest of it here in a minute. But yeah, I mean, if you can get Boise State to come in, the place is going to be sold out. I guess maybe Oregon State and Washington State. Washington State's basically been a mess since Mike Leach has left. Numerous different reasons we won't go into. But okay, hopefully they would be. Fresno State should be packed in. I don't know how many people are going to go to a game to watch San Diego State. They haven't been very good. All right. Colorado State hasn't been very good. Utah State isn't very good. But if you're asking me where Texas State is going to fit in as of right now, they're not going to be joining until 2026. They're mid. They're right in the middle of this. They're probably, again, presuming Oregon State and Washington State are a little bit better. In fact, I could be wrong on that. And they're behind Fresno State. So they're mid, right? They're at the top of the bottom of the Pac-12-ish, right? They're going to be behind Boise, behind Oregon State, behind Washington State, and probably behind Fresno State. And so they're ahead of those other teams. Also, someone trashed the towns in the Sun Belt, and those are college towns, where this guy is going to be loving, going to San Diego. All right, well, be careful. And San Diego's gorgeous. No one's going to badmouth San Diego. But your trip to San Diego is going to cost you $5,000. If it's a family of 4, right? Before you step foot in San Diego, it's going to be at least $500 to get there. So that's $2,000. I presume you're going for 3 nights because it's a trip to San Diego, probably taking at least a day off from work. So you're going to go Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Now it's a hotel stay. Now it's 4 tickets to the game and 3 nights hotel stay. So now it's, Friday and Saturday, all day, coming back Sunday. So, I mean, you're looking at somewhere between $3,000 and $4,000. Okay. That's not exactly a college road trip. And if you have the money for that, God bless you. Good for you. All right. You're welcome to go to San Diego. It's a gorgeous city. Not a college town per se, but a gorgeous city. But it's going to cost you some money, right? It costs a lot cheaper to go get into a car and go to, Lafayette or Jonesboro. I understand those cities are not San Diego. I'm not going to claim that they are. And it probably takes just as long to get to lovely Boone, North Carolina, but that's, hotels are going to be a little bit cheaper there as well. So it's going to cost you a little bit to get there. All right. So yes, the high end of the conference is going to be better. And when Gonzaga basketball comes to San Marcos, it's going to be better as well. Now, it does appear, I could be reading this wrong. So again, you guys are welcome to correct me if I'm wrong. There does seem to be a student fee for athletics. Seems to be about $660. And it depends how many hours you're taking. But for 15 hours, we'll say it's $330. That's $660 a year. I presume that's going to be going up, or we're going to see some sports being cut. They're already cutting staff from Arkansas so they can pay the players going in for the revenue sharing. They're cutting people making $50,000 and $60,000 so they can start playing players, right? Don't think they're cutting staff members that are making high 6 and 7 figures. They're going to start cutting, the people who are the low-level people making $50,000 or $60,000. And they're going to start cutting Olympic sports. That's what's going to happen. And we'll see. So one of 2 things going to happen. They're either going to raise those student rates for athletic fees, or else they're going to start cutting sports, because it's going to cost a lot of money for the soccer team or the women's track team to go to Corvallis. I'm just saying. But I don't want it to come across as I'm hating Texas State. If it's better for them, it's better for them. I'm disappointed in them going. I think it's going to cost them money, and I'm not sure if they're going to be able to compete or how long it's going to take them to compete for a championship. G.J. Kinney has absolutely raised the standards there. It's now 8-win season and a bowl game. They've won 2 bowl games over the last couple of years. They hadn't had a winning season since 2014. And now it's going to step up a little bit, right? If you have trouble taking on the Raging Cajuns, Boise State's another level, all right? Boise State may have to rebuild a little bit after the running back's going pro, but you have confidence that they can. We'll see what Fresno State's doing. And again, not sure about Oregon State and Washington State. But again, they have a year. I'm not sure if you're going to get better players to play for Texas State than you would before. Maybe. All right. But we'll see. But obviously the ball is rolling. It has been rolling for, we say 2 weeks, but much longer than that. But it does appear that Texas State is heading to the Pac-12, which is what we've been talking about for, again, the better part of 2 weeks. We will wait and see. I presume we will find out what the Sun Belt reaction is going to be here in the next few days as well. Again, we're heading home to Central New York, so we'll be doing this from Mama Schultz's deck or the bedroom. We'll see where we are, what we can plug into or not. And when we have a chance to do it, if it's nice out, we can absolutely do it outside. But we are heading home. But we'll certainly still be doing episodes. Don't think that we're going to miss out on that kind of opportunity. All right, let's take a time out. Awards are pouring in as expected for Coastal Carolina. We'll talk about that after I tell you about Game Time. Have you ever decided at the last minute to head to a ball game with friends or family? Maybe it's game day and you suddenly realize you want to be in the stands. That's exactly where Game Time comes in, and it's the easiest way to grab last-minute tickets without the stress. With the money you save on tickets, you can splurge on food, drinks, merch, and even invite a bigger group to come with you. Game Time makes it possible. Game Time makes buying tickets fast and simple. Prices on the app actually drop closer to when you get to the first pitch, and they've got incredible last-minute deals, clear seat views, and the lowest price guaranteed that takes the worrying out of buying. Remember, guys, I did this on opening day going to Cincinnati. Used to be the Reds had that traditional opening day, and that was a big party, all right? And had a great time, and I used Game Time, and at the last, not only was it the last minute, but I was about to leave, and I got a last-minute ticket and a last-minute deal on Game Time, and I absolutely loved it. You'll love using Game Time as well. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONCOLLEGDEGE for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your teams every day. I hadn't done that in a long time, so Locked On College is the promo code. I don't know if I've ever done that, which honestly, I'm surprised at. All right, so we have the awards coming in for Coastal Carolina, as you may expect. All right. Kevin Schnall, the Baseball America Coach of the Year, and Buster Posey, award winner for Best Catcher of the Year, goes to Caden Bodine. You wonder if something like that helps his draft status. I don't know. Again, people think he may be the first catcher taken somewhere in the first or second round. LSU fans are back at it with Kevin Schnall after Baseball America announces that he was their Coach of the Year. The LSU fans not happy about it because their coach beat them, and LSU fans make their feelings known. And so I think it has more to do with, and we all know that for the most part, coaching of the year is usually based on expectations. All right. And the expectations were, Coastal Carolina was 4th in the Sun Belt. Now, LSU was 4th in the SEC, but probably a top 10 preseason team. All right. Coastal Carolina was not. Coastal Carolina wasn't a top 25 team. And despite what happened in the College World Series, Kevin Schnall, in his first year, now it wasn't like his team wasn't loaded, but in his first year of coaching, took his team to the championship series in Omaha. That's impressive. All right. There's not, Jay Johnson hadn't done that. They did have a graphic that he did, but he didn't. So it's impressive. All right. And he's already gotten some transfers in. LSU fans think the way that he acted was going to prevent him from getting players in. It's not been the case. All right. And they've opened up their indoor facility, which will be used for numerous different things. It appears that Coastal is on the upswing when it comes to their athletic program. They do have a new president. Michael T. Benson is out the door. All right. So this is he's accepted another job. They've already hired another president. And so talking to an AD, it's you got to be all aligned from the board, the president, the coaches, the staff, the alumni. Everybody's got to be aligned, as he said to me. And so everybody can be on the same page. Because if you got different people doing different things, like the Cajuns did not have that for a long time until Dr. Savoy got there. And they've had a renaissance. I mean, I say over the last slightly more than a decade, but it started before that, right? HUD's first year would have been 11. Softball had been going before that. Baseball even before that. But it really took a next level when Dr. Savoy got that. Scott Farmer, despite some shortcomings, continued to build on that with some improvement to some facilities. And obviously, Dr. Maggart has done a great job there as well. South Alabama's facilities have greatly improved. So they're doing a good job there. Obviously, Texas State has done a great job. JMU had been building towards becoming FBS for many years, and they're looking to build their stadium out. So they're looking to build their improve their facilities and to get everybody aligned there. And you would think they are aligned. Sunbelt trying to work on to see if Louisiana Tech is aligned. Some people still do not want Louisiana Tech in. They think that is a mistake. Oh, man. That's going to be a whole episode. It's a different story, different episode. This is about Kevin Schnall and Coastal Carolina, but they obviously had a fantastic year. Regardless of what LSU fans think, when you are one of the two last team standings, even when LSU lost to Florida because their Sunday pitcher, was it Walker? He got hurt. Heading into the World Series, they just ran out of pitching. That was 2017. You've had a really good year. I know. So LSU's judged on a different standard, as Moscona said. You still can't have a bad year when you finish second. There's only one team that would not trade places with you. Every other team in America would trade places with Coastal Carolina except LSU. All right. They outpaced every single SEC, Big Ten, and ACC team. The only one that beat them was LSU. All right. Florida wasn't good enough to even face them in the Conway regional. And obviously they beat Auburn in Auburn. So Coastal had a phenomenal season. The awards keep on piling in, and it'll be interesting to see if Kevin Schnall gets the contract extension. And you got to get while the getting's good. All right. That's that, add a year here, a little bit more money. Just say it. That's usually the way things work, right? I got a good contract. It's my first year head coaching. I don't think we have to tear it up. I think a lot of schools do that way too soon, right? But we can add a little bit more to it. I don't think you have to double it or anything like that, because that's where schools can get tied in. There's plenty of places that do that after like one or two good seasons, and then all of a sudden, bottom drops out, and we're, paying coaches not to coach. So we'll see if, in a couple of weeks, all of a sudden, Coastal Carolina signs Kevin Schnall to a contract extension, new contract. All right. Let's take a time out. Again, we talked about Southern Miss and Mississippi State. Let's look at some of those other ball games. Just wanted to see, out of curiosity, who else is playing in week one. And you actually have somebody from the Sun Belt playing in what is going to be the Pac-12-ish. I say ish because, again, it's only 8 teams in theory. All right. We'll talk about that when we come back after I thank you. Again, we are continuing to grow. We've had 100 subscribers in the last week. We're going to have, again, a record-setting month. Again, I know that's all the LSU fans, so we'll probably be back down to normal next month with 70,000 views. I know for those SEC guys, that's nothing. It's probably, 2 or 3 shows for Moscona. That's an outstanding month for me. It is what it is. So I thank you guys. Even on Friday, we hadn't posted until, it may not be until just before noon, because I actually have something coming up here right when I finish recording. But you guys are the best. So thank you very much. And again, if we do have breaking news throughout the day or the weekend, I will get it up as soon as I can. All right. So we'll post it just because I'm going on vacation. Actually, what that means is I don't have to wait until in between tours. I can post it as long as I can find some, Wi-Fi. We may be outside of the city for a little bit. So I do appreciate it. Thank you so much. Don't forget about those audio podcasts, Apple and Spotify. It is a big, big help. Having another, I wouldn't say necessarily record month, but certainly the best month in a little bit. So it is a big help. And again, 100 subscribers in less than a week is fantastic. So thank you so much. Let's talk about week one in the Sun Belt. It's not. It could be. It's just coffee. If you were listening, I got my Jim Beam coffee cup, and it says on the other side, this could be bourbon. It's not. It's just coffee. Although I did get a cool bottle yesterday. Although not a Jim Beam product. All right, week one preview. Again, we were talking about, it is Dave Schultz, Lockdown Sunbelt, your teams every day. We talked about that Southern Miss Mississippi State ball game that, again, everyone's got Mississippi State winning because, I guess one's SEC, one's Sun Belt, and Southern Miss had 1 win last year. Mississippi State had 2, so I don't know why they think they're all that great. Although the quarterback was better than I thought, just didn't win. All right. But we have some really good football games in the Sun Belt to begin with. Monroe hosting St. Francis, ain't one of them. Sorry. But a good chance for you, Monroe, to get off to a good start. That is Thursday night, 7 p.m. local time. Well, that may be 7 p.m. Eastern time, just because it's on my computer right now. So it's probably 6 p.m. local time in Monroe. So that's obviously a must win for Monroe. This is a nice ball game. And I did see this as well. Friday night, App State is at Charlotte. App State has sold out their has sold out their stadium for their tickets. So has Charlotte. Oddly enough, unless it said season tickets, but I thought Charlotte said they are sold out for the upcoming season. So that's pretty good. So that's on a Friday night. App State, and I'm just giving you the lines that are available, and they all are available. If it's an FCS school, it won't be available until like the week of the game. All right. St. Francis, an FCS school. By the way, So the ones I've been giving you have been FanDuel, ESPN, as I'm looking at the schedule, has Mississippi State back by 13. All right. Indiana is hosting Old Dominion. And so you have the former JMU coach going up against Old Dominion. IU, 23.5-point favorites. That may not be so bad. I'm not sure in fact, I'm not going to sit here and tell you ODU is going to go in there and win. But they may cover. I'm not sure I would tell you they're not going to surprise anybody. The former JMU coach is going to have IU ready because he's going to know about ODU. But I got I have high hopes for ODU this year. Again, a huge win at IU would set up ODU for a big season. All right. This is a tough spot to start for Marshall. They're going up against Georgia. Georgia is a 38.5-point favorite. Gibson starting off his Marshall career going up against, I guess, one of the favorites for the national championship. I don't know where Georgia is at that point in time, but that's a tough spot. All right. It's a 3:30 game on ESPN. All right. So it's actually, we got back-to-back Sun Belt games. Mississippi State starting against Southern Miss, that's ESPN. And then Marshall at Georgia on ESPN. That's pretty good. All right. Not to mention, App State at Charlotte is on ESPNU. So that's a lot of national TV coverage for the Sun Belt. You do have Coastal Carolina at Virginia. Virginia, 12.5-point favorite. I mean, it's time for Tim Beck and Coastal Carolina to step up. All right. Someone called me out, said maybe we're overlooking Coastal. I'm going to have to look back and see about the quarterback. That's where we all start. You got to have quarterback play to contend. All right. A lot of high hopes for James Madison. All right. You got Matt Saluka, right? I really don't have dyslexia, but I just always see it's Matt Saluka. All right. I see like Scalua, and that's not it. In my mind, I see that. It's not right. So Matt Saluka is the quarterback. I mean, they are a heavy favorite to win. I'm not sure if that's necessarily warranted, but James Madison hosting, I think it's Weber State, right? Arkansas State taking on Southeast Missouri State. Arkansas State got to win that one. Got to get off to a good start. 5.5 is the over-under. I'm taking the over. South Alabama's gotten Morgan State. Got to win that one. Troy hosting Nichols, and I believe it's a new head coach for Nichols, right? The Fighting Tim Rebos have retired, and so it's a new deal for Nichols. So Troy's got to win that ball game. Georgia State going to Ole Miss. Not going to be easy. Tough spot for Georgia State. No line on well, there is a line on that one. That's a 37.5-point favorite for Ole Miss. All right. I think Georgia State's going to be better. I don't think they're going to quite contend in the East. Again, they got that, new recruiting class, top recruiting class in the Sun Belt, but they're all 18 years old. You got to give that recruiting class a couple of years to mature. And so we'll see where they are in a couple of years. Look for them 4 or 5 wins. And if they get to a bowl game, to me, they would exceed expectations. You got the Cajuns hosting Rice. And the big thing there is Cajuns 15-point favorites, new stadium. And as long as it's not 100 degrees, and it does say, oddly enough, it does say 8 p.m. Kickoff Eastern time. We talked about this earlier in the week. It's a 7 p.m. kickoff. They got it a little bit later. Hopefully it's relatively cool. Not that it's going to stop all Cajuns fans from partying all day long, but we need to see a sellout. It needs to be 30,000 as long as it's not raining. All right. And not 200 degrees with 3,000% humidity. It's got to be a sellout. All right. You got the hometown kid, Walker Howard, being the quarterback. Nobody knows how good they're going to be. I know they lost a lot of kids, but they still should be pretty good. You got the quarterback. You gotta sell it out. All right. There's no excuse for not selling it out. All right. It's just, there is none. All right. Now, whether people show up because of the weather, that's different. It should be sold out. All right. If I got App State and Charlotte telling me that their seasons are sold out, why haven't the Cajuns sold out opening night yet? The first 2 games should be sold out. That announcement should be coming like August 1st. All right. The rest of the season is going to be based on how good they are. That's different. All right. And then we have Eastern Michigan is at Texas State. Texas State's 14.5-point favorite. And oddly enough, so you do have Georgia Southern heading out to Fresno State. All right. So that's kind of a Sun Belt Pac-12-ish matchup, although Fresno State's still not in the Pac-12. Fresno State just a 1.5 favorite at home. Fresno State's pretty good. Georgia Southern's got the same quarterback, same coach. Can they go on the road and get the job done? Do a little Sun Belt flexing. That would be a big-time win for Georgia Southern. Now, again, we'll get all the previews. As you can see, I'm off on Friday, so maybe I'll go see if we can go find Phil Steele's magazine, see where he's got some of these teams. And again, we look to have Phil on as he usually comes on. It'll be in a couple weeks or so. He is enjoying some well-deserved time off. All right. So that's the week 1. And those are some, impressive ball games. I mean, Mississippi State, Indiana, Virginia, Georgia, Fresno State, Ole Miss. That's some impressive scheduling. All right. Some are going to take it on the chin, but there are certainly some opportunities for the Sun Belt to shine in the first week of the season. All right. Nothing to do with the Sun Belt, but I do want to congratulate my buddy, Danny Broussard, head coach of the STM basketball team, St. Thomas More High School of Walker Howard, among others. Jack and Tiger Besh, for example. Both played for Danny Broussard playing basketball. He is being inducted into the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. Well-deserved, well-earned, despite not wanting to shoot in the fourth quarter. And I just wanted to pass along my congratulations. Well overdue as well, but wish I could be there as he is he's getting the ceremonies are this weekend. But congratulations to my buddy, head coach Danny Broussard, for getting into the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. Congratulations, Coach. All right. You've been watching Locked On Sunbelt, your teams every day. Have a great weekend. And if something breaks towards the Sunbelt, we will keep you updated. All the best. Thank you so much.